Okay, it's been about a month and I posted back-to-back videos of these two Nylint Econoline ambulances. The one on the left was missing one door. The one on the right was missing all four doors, the windshield, and the front axle. Now I'm going to take the one on the left out temporarily. Okay, when I did the video on this van first, like I said, it was missing the axle, windshield, and all four doors. I was pointing out little things like crayon marks and mud stains, and I regret doing it, but I got the cleaner out and the paper towel and I sprayed it down, sort of wiping it off, and I lost all the crayon marks. Wasn't even thinking about losing them. I wish I'd have not cleaned it like that, but the damage is already done. Lost that little bit of history of the van. But if you recall, in the first video I was pointing out how the van was evidently played with a lot because the floorboards was pushed up, the axle on the front looked like it was snapped because of how much pressure was being put down on the van as it was being played with. It bent the floors and caused the axle to start cutting into the posts that hold the axles to the van. I mentioned in that video as well that I had an old Nylint horse trailer that I was going to use the axle on. Well, that axle was just a little bit too wide, but fortunately, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the jungle wagon. I had the trailer with one axle and with one tire attached to it, missing a tire. So I used that axle and pulled the tire off of the horse trailer and put the axle back up under this one. The rear axle I left alone. Is still in pretty bad shape, and you know, if somebody was to take and start playing with this thing again, it'd probably end up snapping, but that's not going to happen. These are retired toys. Let's check it out. Front end not supported by the 9-volt battery any longer. Brand new windshield, and unfortunately that brand new windshield kind of detracts from the old van. I wish I could have found somebody that had an old scratched up one that I could have used, but all that was online was the new windshields. Put the dome light on it as well, but I did not replace any of the decals. I love the look of those older decals, plus the replacement decals. They're good looking decals, but they're just a little bit bigger than what the decals are you see on the van now. So let's rotate it. Alright, so we're looking at the roadside, and like I showed in the previous video, it's got paint loss around the edge of the roof. The decal is pretty beat up, and now you can see the new axle or replacement axle. Something else I'm learning, as I mentioned in some of my videos, I am not a painter, but I put extra coats of paint on these doors and they look better with extra coats. I figured if I put extra coats on them that they would be too vibrant. The one on this side looks really close and the one on this side does not. Now, I did not do my toothpick trick, but for some reason I have scratches, and identical scratches on each side of the doors. That's kind of odd. Let me get a close-up of it. There it is. I still don't video very well. Alright, same on this side. Put the new doors on it, painted them up. And again, this one here, I feel like if I was to put another layer of paint, it'd more match the side, and I'd probably have to put 2 layers on that one. I may do that, but then again, I may not. I got to decide on that. But you also notice I put simulated curtains on this one. I was watching a movie at my parents' house from the 60s, and it was a Cadillac ambulance. And my movie could have been from the 70s, but it was a Cadillac ambulance, and when they put the person in the ambulance, they closed the curtains, and it was that color curtains. I think it looks pretty good, but you know, I probably end up taking them out. But you see all the paint loss on this side as well, and on the roof. Alright, so here's both ambulances. And this is the ambulance that had the gurney right on the left side. And in that video, I believe it was that video, I mentioned that the paint loss around the edges were very similar on both vans. And that had to be where the hands of the kid that had them was pushing it around, and because you know, sweat getting in there and rubbing it and all that, and it seemed like a lot of paint loss on both vans' edges, which I think is pretty cool because I got them from separate people. Alright, I want to show you guys a view of the back. The van with the gurney, it has the gas cap and the tail lights. The van without the gurney on the right, the one that was missing everything, has no tail lights, no gas cap. I think that's a feature they should have continued with, because it breaks up the big blank space on where the tail lights aren't. Alright, that's a review of what I've done with the van that was missing everything versus the van that was just missing a door. Now, for all you pressed steel collectors, I know most people seem to collect Tonka, and that's understandable. And Tonka, when you was a kid, especially if you was a boy, you had a Tonka dump truck. I think it must have been an unwritten law that every little boy had a Tonka dump truck. But if you're not into Nylints, you ought to check them out. Like I said, these vans bring up good memories I had as a kid of playing with them in South Georgia. And I love Econolines. I used to own an Econoline truck, and I sold it because I had to liquidate my inventory of cars. I just had too many projects going. And man, I wish I'd have kept it, because I had to make a decision between that and my rag top, and I held on to my rag top. I had no space for all my cars. But that's it for this video. Like I said, check them out. Check out the Nylints. They are good looking vans, especially if you are an emergency vehicle collector or a military collector. Of course, I'm talking about the Econolines, or if you just love Econolines, because they made several of them. And more research I do, the more I realize what I have. And I do have the very first Econoline truck, and I also have a video posted on that Nylint Econoline truck. The very first one, it had double headlights instead of the signature Econoline headlights. And I think the year after, I think that was 62 maybe, and I think in 63 is when they went to those headlights. And then sometime in the late 60s, early 70s, I don't know if it was a contract thing with Ford or what, Ford changed to Nylint here, and on the hubcaps they took Ford off and put in on them. And also, and I also learned, it might have been me, but when I was trying to put the axle together back for this one, I had another axle that had the Nylint in the hubcaps, but when I went to change the hubcaps off of this van to put the forward ones on, they didn't fit. Now, like I said, it could be me, but it seems like the Ford hubcaps fit certain wheels and the Nylint hubcaps fit other wheels. I might not need to do a comparison and see if there was I know they changed the style of the tread patterns. I may need to check that out and see maybe the whole wheel was changed at one time. But that's it for the update, guys. As I said, great looking vans. They look just like the Econoline van, especially this one with the tail lights and the gas cap. And if you don't have it, look into them. I think you'll be quite pleased if you collect pressed steel. These will not be repainted. They will stay the same as they are today, and they're not for sale. It's hard for me to turn loose pressed steel. Guys, thanks for viewing. You all have a great day.